everyone, my name's Anne-Marie. Welcome to this Fabscraps card making project on the hottest day of the year so far. So today we're going to be revisiting the Free Spirit collection, and that's C114 for any Fabscrap fans. And I just think today's card is a gorgeous card, and the method that we use for creating it could be adapted for any paper collection that you have, whatever brand, whatever manufacturer. Now, I've used lots of scraps for this card and it works so well and it comes together so beautifully, and I just think it's a great idea to be versatile with those scraps that you've got in a cardboard box sat there waiting for a rainy day or for inspiration to hit you, and I think this could be it. So you can always contact me on YouTube. You can, well, I'm saying contact me, you can comment on YouTube. You can contact me directly on Facebook, you can comment on the projects on Facebook, you can contact me directly via email on my blog. So feel free, I love hearing from you, I love hearing your questions. Now we're changing it a little bit this week. You're not going to see me at the end of the video because I really believe by the time you get to the end, you just want to go be creative. So you don't want to be sitting even longer watching my ugly mug on your screen. So I think it's just the case of you want to be off, look at the pictures of the project and then go make something. So I thought it would be best if it's just me at the beginning and then you see the project and away you go. I do love seeing the photos of what you create, and you know, feel free to send me them because I do enjoy seeing them. And I like hearing from you, so it's great to know that I do inspire and give you ideas. So let's have a look at today's project. So the first thing that we're going to need is our square card base. This is a 6 by 6 inch square card base. It could be from any brand, any retailer. I'm actually using an ivory, but you could use white or a colour that's going to tone in with a collection of papers that you use. This is, I think I've just mentioned this in the intro, but this is a great idea to use with your scraps because everything I use from the Free Spirit collection today was in my scrap pack. And for each collection I keep the scraps with them in a separate bag so that I know I've got all those to come back to and make different things. So I hope you like this idea, and it is a popular shape at the moment, the hexagons. So let's see what we can create. So this is my card. I'm going to use my bone folder to make sure I've got that nice sharp edge along one side because I want it to stand up proud when it's on a mantelpiece. I've also used my handmade stamp. This could be any brand. You know, I use this one from Anna Griffin and I'm using it on all my cards this year on the back of them. It just says handmade by, I put my name in there, and I just add a few details about this card that we're making. You don't have to do that, but it's nice for the recipient to know who's made it for them. So we're going to do the inside first. Now I've got a piece of plain pink cardstock. This is just general cardstock. It could be any brand, any make, any manufacturer, any texture. Mine's actually smooth. Now what I've done is I've taken some of my own stamps in the Honeycomb and I've stamped it 3 times just at the sides of the paper, and I've just used a dark brown ink, nothing out of the ordinary, and it's literally just catching the edge with that honeycomb shape. I've got double-sided tape on the back, and for all of you eagle-eyed viewers, that's my arrow telling me which way up I need to put it in. So it's just a marker for me. So I've cut the main insert a little bit smaller than the outside of the card. So I've just popped that in so it's got the border around the edge of the card. Now the one thing I have done is to save you watching me do this because it would take hours. The preparation for this card was quite immense actually. I've used a die. It's an inch sized die of a hexagon, a honeycomb, and if it's not a hexagon it's just a 6-sided shape, so it's the honeycomb to me. I've cut out lots of scrap and I've actually mounted them just on old cardstock. I've die cut them in all of the different designs from the Free Spirit collection that I had in the scrap, and I've just got flat tape on the back of them. Now, the only reason I've mounted them on cardstock is because if you were to sit and watch me place all these in the card and on the front, we'd be here till Christmas. So I've just mounted them onto some cardstock. I've inked them around the edges before I did that, and just for time, I did them all in one. So I've done quite a few at the bottom. There's 10 there. I've got a couple for one side of the card, just at the corner. And just at the edges for that one, I've cut one in half to make it look as though the pattern's following onto the edge. And then for the other side, I've got 2 pieces of hexagon, and I've stamped an image. And the image says thanks, because we're making a thank you card, because this would be great for teachers or for after a wedding, if you have to say thank you, or thank you for your birthday gift, etc. So all I'm going to do is simply place the little word thanks between the 2 hexagons, and then place those 2 just at the top of the card, like so. And so we've got our sentiment for the inside, and we've got the pattern. And how great does that look already? And that is the insert finished. We've got enough room for our message, to, from, thank you very much for whatever you've done. And it's just something a little bit different. And again, all scraps for the shapes. So now we can turn our attention to the front. Just using my bone folder again to make sure I've still got that nice sharp edge. So our first layer, I've got to admit, I got carried away. This is one of the papers from the Fabscraps collection. This was one of the 8x8 papers, and I had a piece left, but I've mounted it on pink card. Now normally I would show you how to make the mat and layer, but I got carried away and I did it anyway. So you can see it's got a layer around the edge of about 1/4 of an inch all the way around, and I've just got double-sided tape on the back. So it was just one sheet of paper on top of the other to make the mat and the layer, and we're going to add that to the front of our card, and it sits in the centre with a nice border edge around it. Next, I have done exactly the same with the hexagons for the outside as I've done for the inside. So I've shaped them around the edge, cut them in half so it looks as though the pattern is following through the edge. It's on 3D foam, and I'm simply going to add these to the outside of the card. So I've got one section for the top, one section for the side of the card, and one section for the bottom. Again, I've done them all together and mounted them on just scrap card, just so that you don't have to sit and watch me place each hexagon one after another, because that would be quite, well, monotonous really, and just having me on your screen for hours just placing hexagons when I'm sure you've got other things to do. Okay, so that's our base of honeycomb, and already it looks great just from the shapes of it. Do you see what I mean about it's very popular at the moment, is honeycomb, and so that's why I'm sort of using that bang on trend saying, I'll have to think of something else. Next, what I've done, I've actually also got a honeycomb die. Very fine. I love this. I do love the honeycomb shape. I'm sure you'll see it crop up quite a few times in our cards. And all I've done is I've die cut it out of pink cardstock, and I've got some double-sided tape at the top. And I'm going to position this little piece just about there on our card. And then I've got a second piece, again, just on tape at the top, because we're going to cover the tape. Now, if for any reason I wasn't going to cover it, I would be using just a clear drying glue. So I'm going to pop that piece at the bottom. Now, if you don't think that yours is going to stick very well, you can still add some glue just at the sides where you know an item is going to cover that extra honeycomb. So I've not been very careful, it's just showing you where you can position your glue, and if you're going to cover it, it's going to help a little bit. So next, I've got a very large honeycomb shape here, and I've stamped around the edge using the same stamp. It's a honeycomb stamp, one of my own from my own stash. You could use any shape, you could use any stamp. It just so happens I'm using this one. I've just stamped around the edge. It matches the stamping that we've done on the edge of the insert. I've got 3D foam on the back of it, and I'm going to place it. You see how we had the tape? I'm going to place it just over the centre and the edge of the die cut honeycomb that you've just seen me pop on. Next, I have a smaller honeycomb, and you can see I've taken this from a gorgeous section from the Free Spirit collection, die cut it, inked it around the edge, and I've just stamped slightly the honeycomb on the edge on 3D foam, and that's going to just go over the top of our previous hexagon like that. And then I can add one of the little tags from the Free Spirit collection, and look how pretty that is. Look at the detail in that. So I'm just going to add that slightly to the side, and then I've stamped the words "I can't thank you enough" in white. I've heat embossed it, and it's just on general black card. This is one of my own stamps, so you could use any stamps that you have. And I'm just going to put that at an angle, just kind of over the tag. And I'm just going to see if I can just tweak it so we can see that little butterfly, because I didn't want to cover him up really. There we go, we can see him there. Put it at an angle. Because it's your creation, you can do whatever you like with it. If you're not happy with something, tweak it. Next, I've just got another little word, happy heart, that I've stamped out. That was actually a Spellbinders die with lots of words on, Spellbinders stamp, sorry, with lots of words on that we used a few times last year. And I just think it's a great stamp because there's so many different choices of words, and it looks great in white on black. And then I've just got a honeycomb at the back of it. I've got it on 3D foam, and I'm going to pop it. Now I'm going to pop this one straight at the top. There we go. And then last but not least, I've die cut a little butterfly, just using a simple butterfly die. The top is a pattern paper from the Free Spirit collection, and then underneath, to make it look 3D, I've just used a solid colour from the Free Spirit collection. So I've put them in 2 layers to make it look as though he's flying off the page. And I'm just going to pop him roughly about there, I would say. And that is our card finished. And it's just such a gorgeous card with those honeycomb shapes. Really easy to create. There's a little bit of preparation to die cut all the shapes. And I think the black and white stand out so well against the muted tones of the collection. Fabscraps are great at papers and the images and the tones, to be able to tone in with solid colours. It stands up nicely, It's going to go in a normal envelope. It's not going to need any extra packing. Your butterfly will squash down. So if I squash him down, you'll see that he springs back because he's got 3D foam between his wings. And it's just such a great card. I'm sure your postage will be just standard postage. I know my friends across the pond, square cards are a little bit different. But, you know, it's worth it. I think the person that you send it to would appreciate it. Now, you're not seeing me at the end of the videos because, you know, time management and all that. And I've realised you enjoy seeing me at the beginning. So I would just like to say, check my blog because there'll be lots more pictures of the card. So many more projects on there. Give me the thumbs up for the video if you've enjoyed it. Please share with your crafty friends. Don't forget to check my blog for details of the Fabscraps website of where you can get your collections. If you want to get in touch with them to find out where your nearest supplier is, or you've got any questions. So it just remains for me to say thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you next time.